Hey, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. It would really help us out, and it's free. Now, let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress and producer Ellie Zavala with me. So, welcome, Ellie.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
Yeah, this is so exciting. So I watched the trailer for your film and I loved it.
Awesome. Thank
I
you.
loved it. So I definitely want to talk about it. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about you. Talk a little bit about how you got into the entertainment business. What made you want to become an actress and a film producer? And because you didn't start out that way. You kind of had a little detour to get there. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, since I was a little kid, I always liked, obviously, as everyone, watching films. But the thing that drove me was like, oh God, I wish I could be like there doing that, like playing with the kids. It was really like, because there was this, in Mexico, I'm from Mexico originally, there was this telenovela called Carusel of the Americas. And it was about a bunch of little kids doing little kid stuff. And I was like, oh, I wish I could be their friend. And then one day I was with my mom. She was doing her hair in the salon or whatever. And there was this magazine in the salon. And she brought me with her because obviously you have to like take care of me. I was a little kid. And I was like going through the magazine, and then I saw that they were having this thing called a casting to expand the cast of that telenovela. And I was like, oh, what is this? And what is this possibility? So it means that I can be there playing for real with them. And then I started to learn like that was kind of something that was possible. And after that, I was like, okay, I was really a kid then. I was like 9, 7 years old, something like that. But then after that, that bug was like impregnated there in me. And I just kept going. Like when I was in high school, actually before that, when I was, what's the level before high school?
Middle school or junior high? Yeah.
Yeah. I was doing little plays with my classmates, and then that bug was like growing and growing and growing and growing. The same thing in college. And then I decided, you know what? Let's not kid myself. This is what I really want to do. I really want to make stories. I really want to make films and theater. So let's do it for real. Let's do it as a profession, as a way of living. And here I am.
Well, so what were you going to college for? Were you going for theater or for a film degree?
No, for law.
Actually. That's what I thought. Yeah. That's what.
I'm a lawyer.
So was it? Did you want to be a lawyer, or was that something like your mom was saying? No. This.
Well,
you need something to fall back on.
It was a combination of both, because obviously parents being parents and being mindful that you're going to do and protect yourself in life and provide for yourself in life. They were like, oh, okay. I mean, you can do your theater stuff over the summers, but you go and do accounting school or something, or business school. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it's tempting, the summer part, but I don't know if I want to be an accountant. And then when it was time for me to decide what to do with my life, I was like, okay, I can study communications, because back in Mexico, that was the only career that had film in it, or I can study something else, because communications only has like one semester with film, and it's not enough for me. And then I figured, okay, if I study law, and that's, and after many years after I understood that somehow underneath, like in an unconscious level, I had like this plan for myself. And I thought that, okay, it's going to make more sense for me to study law. and to know the rules of the game, because the rules are the law, literally. So if I know how those rules work, I can have a little bit of advantage in this thing that I want to do as a career. And that's why when I study law, my area of expertise or of my major, that's how you call it here, was IP, or intellectual property and copyright. Oh. Because I was like, okay, let's make it. And actually that's super useful for me today. Literally, there's no one day that passed by where I don't see copyright things or compliance things or IP things. So it's super useful for sure. Great decision.
I actually, that was going to be my next question. You kind of answered it. It seems like that type of degree would only help you in what you're doing now.
Yep. And not only in the business part, but also in the creative. And this is something that after being questioned, like, why did you quit law? And I was like, well, I didn't technically quit it because I'm still applying it very actively. But beyond that, the way your mind is shaped while studying law, because you have to understand like many whys, and you have to answer many questions, and you have to go to the bottom of the why someone or something happens. It really helped me while building a character. So it's only been helpful, actually. So
yeah, I think that's such a neat story, because you don't hear that too often. You don't hear too often where people go to law school and then kind of go into entertainment, at least on the writing and the acting side.
Yep.
If we're going to be an entertainment lawyer, maybe.
Yep.
But you didn't do that. So I think that's a neat story.
And I think that everyone who's hesitant about if they're fortunate enough to pursue a career after high school or a professional degree, just go for law, because it's super basic for everything, literally.
Yeah. It's not super easy, though.
Well, that's true. That is so true. I mean, my last year at law school was like kind of suffering it a little bit, because it was not hard, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Where were you born in Mexico?
In Victoria. It's a small town in the state that it's below Texas, but I grew up in Monterrey, which is a little bit closer to the Texan border. And it's a huge city, industrial city. And right now it's going through a nice growth in the art and cultural part. So, yep.
That's awesome. My wife's father was born in Juarez, but he grew up in El Paso.
Yep.
With that. So yeah, she's actually she works for Live Nation. She's going to be in Mexico City for 2 weeks starting next weekend. So that I was hoping to go with her, but I didn't get invited.
Oh, damn it.
I thought maybe next time.
Yeah, next time.
So is that where when you came to the States, did you come to Texas? Is that where you started from? So you went straight to New York?
Straight to New York, but first I did a little scale, that's how you say it? Yeah, like a little stop in LA.
Yeah,
but I didn't vibe with the city. I vibe with New York. It's different, and it's not better or worse. I just vibe here.
I think that's the case for most people. They either prefer New York or they prefer LA, but you don't find a ton of people that are like, yeah, both are fine.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just
have their
different.
pros and cons, but yeah, they're so different. So different. Plus,
yeah, that's so great.
It's easier on New York.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what my issue. I love New York, but I'll tell you my issue with New York is it's so fast. Everybody's just moving so fast. And like when I first went, I've been several times. The first time I went, I'm very I'm West Virginia. I'm very polite. So I kept stopping to let people go. Just walking around. I kept stopping to let people go. And this police officer that was riding horseback, he finally said, hey, he's like, if you keep doing that, you're never going to get anywhere. He's like, you got to just go.
Yep. And actually, that's one of the things that I love about the city, because I'm super fast paced. So I'm like, okay, next. And in the cities like that, it's like, it's not going to wait for anyone.
No, that's right. That's right. You gotta keep up. But in a lot of ways, that's good because it's motivating.
Yep.
Yeah. That's really great. So when you decided, so you made this choice, okay, I'm not going, well, you kind of knew coming out, but you're not going to just practice law. You're going to do things in the entertainment business. What was the first thing? So did you start looking for acting roles, or were you writing and trying to get some things made?
No, I went right to drama school. I was like, okay, from law school, I practiced 1 year of law, corporate law and IP law. And I was like, no, I mean, definitely not my stuff. So, and I did a small trip through Europe, like in my early 20s, trying to figure it out. Okay, what am I really going to do with my life? And I realized that life is short.
Did you backpack through Europe?
Oh, yeah. It was like, honestly, the backpack was almost like my height, and I'm tall for a woman, I guess. I'm 5'7", and the backpack was like, it went from above my head to a little bit beyond my knees. So I was like, literally, it was big, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take that year and walkabout, or whatever you want to call it, backpack through Europe. I think that's great.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna literally stop doing this because I'm miserable, and actively do the things that I want to do. And I need to be ready. And I'm a big believer of being prepared. And I couldn't not just like go for it. I went to drama school in Monterrey and theater school, and which is the equivalent of an associate degree here. Yeah. And then little by little, I discovered the schools in New York, and I really dig them, the way that the way they approach the craft, and I dig the city. So it was a little bit being there, a little bit being here, and little by little, I'm trying to share as much as possible my time between these two places, because I cannot leave Mexico. I mean, it's such a warm place, right, and so different. I need it. I mean, it's part of me. I'm never gonna not be there. But right now, the city that I vibe is here, so I'm here.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. So when you started writing, going, especially when you're writing films or short films, how did you get started on that? What was your first, film, your first attempt at getting something made?
Well, I don't write. I produce. And that's something that it's very, I learned it the hard way. I tried it for sure.
Yeah, writing stuff, but so is producing. Because as a producer, you got to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. And the first thing that I started with was theater. I had a small production company. I'm always being involved in the business part of the creative side and of theater and film. So I started my production company, and I gathered a couple of my mates of the school. And one of them was really good at writing stuff. By the life of me, nice. I couldn't. I cannot. I mean, I wish I had that gift, but I don't. I know how to act. I know how to produce. I will need a lot of time to develop
a different skill set.
Yeah. So I got them together, and I told them, okay, we need to be organized, and we need to know each the strengths of each one of us, and I know I can produce this and put it on the stage. I know you can write it, so go there, go and write. And all of us were gonna make it. Some of us were gonna act. Some of you are gonna direct. Some of you are gonna like the play, and let's make it. And let's put it out there and let me sell it. And I did that.
What was the name of it?
Oh, the production company was called Soy Libre Teatro, which is I'm free theater. I'm a big believer of freedom. Everything should be like free. You have to like be free to have choices and make decisions and everything. So we have a small repertoire of plays. And one of the things that I did was selling plays to schools during the week. And during the weekend, we have our very avant-garde or more risk plays in small theaters around the city. So we covered a lot of ground there, a lot of audiences. Like we created audiences and we have our small follow-up or followers. So yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So did that lead into La Filmadora?
Well, then because things evolved, I was like, oh, I love you, theater, but you're so difficult for me right now. So I have to leave you. We have to part ways. And that evolved into a film production company. With that film production company, I produced and helped produce small, big film festival. Small because it was about shorts, but big because it was a traveling festival. It went from South America to Central America to North America. It visited like 5 countries each edition. And then obviously because that's one part of it, that was one part of the production company, I needed to be more creative, less in the desk and more in the field, in the set. Right. So one thing led to another, and I started helping out, producing and being part of small short films, and those short films started to travel. That led to my first feature, and from that feature, a couple of TV series, and then when I came here, La Filmadora came with me, and now it's here.
Now it's here. Yeah, I love that. So where do you go to find, the projects that you're interested in?
For starters, film festivals. That's my way to go. It's always like, and beyond like the projects, it's about finding the people that I vibe. I'm a big believer in like, okay, if we're vibing, we're gonna create something good. Right. If we're not vibing, even though the project can be great, we're not gonna take it anywhere because we're not vibing. So that's a big thing for me.
Smart, yeah.
And because again, life is short. You have to enjoy what you do and the people that you're doing with. So that's one thing. Networking, my classmates. I watch literally like 3 pieces of cinema, even if it's like a short film or a documentary or a feature film. In 1 year, I watched, I think, a little over 1,000 pieces. So yeah, I'm a big cinephile. Big.
You have to be. That's so much.
Yeah. And I honestly, and the thing is that I enjoy it so much that it's not heavy or like, oh my God, I have to watch it. It's like, oh no, I have to watch it. Yeah, no. I mean, that's the good thing. So yeah, there and everywhere. I mean, we have a contact in La Filmadora. We don't accept, obviously, unsolicited submission because legal reasons. But when someone is like, oh, I have this idea. Oh, really? Talking to people. Actually, yesterday I went to a networking event here in the Upper West Side, and I took the subway, and in the subway there was this guy with a Muppet, and he had this amazing show. And I was like, okay, we gotta get together. We gotta get coffee at least. I gotta know you. So I just approach people.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm sure they do too, because any type of artist, that's what they want to be seen. They want their, what they love to be seen. So that has to be exciting when you're coming, and saying, hey, let's have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, just talk.
Yeah, I love that. So what's the new film?
Right now, it's in South by Southwest. It's a small short film. It's called El Carrito. And I'm happy and proud and very blessed to be Nelly, which is the main character, and to be part of telling this story. And it's so, please, if you're in Austin, go check it out.
Yeah. So I watched the trailer, and I have to tell you, your acting it was so real. Like, it took maybe 5 seconds, and I was already invested.
Thank you.
Like I wanted to watch the whole film just from the first few seconds. You're so good in it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's really believable. And like, I was rooting for Nelly. And I just, you just get a little taste of it. You don't get, it's just a trailer, but I was rooting for her.
Yep. No, it's a fantastic project. I think it was very well done, and it was a lot of love in it, and most of all, the message in it, it's so important to hear and to have and to understand, really understand. And I think it's a nice piece of cinema that it's gonna contribute to at least have a conversation about many subjects beyond the obvious, which is the immigration part, which is the hustling part that we all have. You don't have to be an immigrant to be hustling. I mean, that's, at least in New York, that's the way of life. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, you're doing it. But you also have to understand that you cannot do everything by yourself, that you need a community, that you can rely on a community, that if you are open enough, you're going to find a little bit of help out there, because most times than not, solidarity is there. And we as human beings, we like to help each other. So we have to be less afraid of asking for help and to rely on others and try to do everything by ourselves, I think.
I love that. Now, on the website, it says that it challenges the concept of the American dream. Yeah. So what does that mean?
That the American dream is not only pursued by immigrants as myself, but by everyone. And that the American dream, it's not as shiny as we wanted to believe, that it really takes effort, and it really takes a little bit of, how do you say that? Humility, or for you to be humble enough to open yourself and to rely on the people around you. That the American dream is not like this individual task and fight that you have to go to the battlefield by yourself, and everything, it's so shiny and beautiful. No, it's hard, but because life is hard. But just because life is hard doesn't mean that you have to be harder than life,
Yeah, I like the fact that your character Nelly, like she's very, like, the impression I got was she's very guarded. So she's really determined that she's going to make it without any help. And I'm guessing that as the film unfolds, she discovers that it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable and ask for a little bit of help, or to receive a little bit of help. That's kind of the impression I got.
Yeah, that's totally the message. I mean, that's exactly it, that you don't have to be that individualistic, and that you can rely in a community, and that in the community relies the strength of a society, really. So the more united we are, the stronger we are. So we can, and to be strong, we have to take each other's hand and reach out and help everyone together.
Yeah, I think that's such a terrific message. So you've got the film in South by Southwest, that's a big one. Are you doing the kind of the film festival circuit? You know, do you have it in others as well?
Well, right now it's like doing its rounds. So let's not jinx it, and let's hope that it gets to more places after
Shut up,
this
Mike!
one.
Don't screw it up.
No, but I think it's such a really nice piece that it's gonna go far, because at the end of the day, the message is clear, and it's a human message, and that's the thing that I think we need to see more.
Yep. Yeah. Is the goal to make it into a feature-length film?
That I don't know, because that I wish. I mean, there's so much material there.
And I know. I would watch that.
Yeah, and one of the things that a few people have told me, like after when it ends, I'm not going to spoil it. They're like, "Oh, I want to keep seeing it. I want to know what's happened next." And I'm like, "Well, stay tuned. Maybe it will happen, but I don't know."
I think it's got a pretty good shot because it's so well done. I enjoyed the my son is in film school, so he always tells me that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I enjoyed the camera angles and the way it was shot. You know, it just it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like I was just right there.
Yeah, the cinematography was amazing, because one of the things that we were trying to do with the film was to make it as real as possible. So it's very neo-realistic in that sense, in that style, because that, I think that's the magic of cinema, that you are so involved in the story that, and as an actor, I think that's one of the main things, or the main aims, to be as truthful as possible, and to be, which is different, to be real, because one thing is the reality and the other thing is truthfulness. For example, you're not gonna really kill someone, but you're gonna feel that rage that's gonna drive you to want to kill someone, and that truthfulness has to be there. So everything that we did was to try to make this piece as truthful and as authentic, and the cinematography was a huge part of it. Yeah.
I thought it was really great. So you're a tamale vendor.
Yeah, I'm a tamale lady.
Yeah, can you actually make tamales?
Oh yeah, look, this is one of the most delicious parts of making the project, like literally and metaphorically, because metaphorically, I was able to get to know a group of street vendors, a female group of street vendors, and I was shadowing them, and I was in the kitchen with them, and I was like, most of the time I was like, oh my God, I think I'm in the middle, but little by little I was like, okay, no, okay, we're here, there, boom, boom, and I even helped cooking stuff. So that was amazing, like from being like, because it's a bustle, and then from the kitchen, following them and shadowing them to the streets where they sell all their stuff. It was an amazing experience, and to see their bond and the real camaraderie, if I'm it's delicious. And yes, I learned to make tamales, and actually on Christmas, because that's something that it's very Mexican. You make tamales. I make tamales, and they were delicious.
So what's the secret to a good tamale?
Oh, it's a secret. I cannot tell you. No, I'm kidding. Good masa, and good ratio between the masa. The masa, it's like the dough, and the filling. Because if you have too much masa or too much dough, it's not going to be good. And if you have too much filling and not enough masa, it's not going to be good. It has to be balanced.
You're right. That actually makes sense to me, because I have had tamales that have too much of either one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, they're not bad, but they're not really good. But then when you find that one that's like the perfect balance, yeah, those are good.
Oh, and the salsa. Oh my goodness. Everything is about the salsa too.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to talk about some salsa recipes. I'm in on that.
Oh my goodness, yes. Whenever you want.
I always get a kick of going out to eat with my father-in-law, because we'll go eat at a Mexican restaurant, and you order off the menu and stuff. Well, he never orders off the menu. On the menu. He orders off the menu. So he's talking to the wait staff, and he's telling them what he wants, and they bring out stuff, and it's so much better than anything on the menu.
Yep. I bet. Yep.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, that's terrific. I was curious, how you portrayed a street vendor if you hadn't been a street vendor, because but it looked really authentic. Even the cards and the little tables and stuff that she's using. I mean, it looks real, but that makes sense if you were shadowing them.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of acting, and the other part is that for me, it's super important to be authentic as possible, and to convey that authenticity, you have to, on my end at least, do enough field work to understand the world and the activities and the way your character is doing something. So for me, it was super important to shadow these street vendors to understand the world that Nelly lived in, so I could really not only understand it here, but in the flesh, if it makes sense. I really needed to experience how a kitchen works, how it smells, how it operates, where do you put your stuff, how is your process, how the people react to you on the street and that was one of them. And I understand there why Nelly had this barrier in her, because when you are overlooked while trying to do an honest living, it can create something, and it can build a little barrier, because you're doing your best and people are just passing and not paying attention to you. But not all the time, but yeah, it's part of that, of understanding.
Yeah, and it came across.
Yeah, no, cool.
Yeah. Did I read that a large part of the cast was actually from the area?
Yeah, and again, that was very important, a very important element of the project, the authenticity. And to be authentic, you have to be authentic, culturally authentic. So that was one of the things that we aimed to bring the community and to get involved in the community and to get the community involved. And it was such an amazing experience. Literally, we shot in this plaza, Queens Plaza.
Yeah.
And there are really a lot of street vendors there. And when we were shooting, some of the ladies were laughing, and we said, God, and they were like, oh my God, that really happens to us. That's how we really run. That's how we really happen. That's what we go through. So it was important for us to be involved and to have the community involved in the project, and to have the community feedback, and to have the community engaged through the process.
I love it.
It was great.
Yeah, I love that. So on the acting side, is going forward, is there a genre or a role that you haven't got to do that you would like to do?
Oh my goodness, too many to list. No, yeah, but I think that on my end, as an actor or as an actress, what I'm after is after roles or characters that can represent not only the parts of my identity, my identities.
Yeah.
Meaning not only immigrant, not only Latin people, not only queer people, not only uh, people of color, but also characters that are the vessel of the human experience. So for me, that's the most important part of a role. Like if it's human enough, if it presents a complex human issue that we need to address, that we need to talk about, that we need to tackle, a subject that we have to put up on the table, and that the character is being a support to this topic that can bring change or at least thought or at least reflection, then those are the types of characters that I'm after. Like the ones without that are not preachy, but that makes you think.
Yeah, I admire that so much. I think that's very commendable because you're representing, roles that are honestly kind of underrepresented. And that's something that I think may be changing a little bit, but we need more of that. We need more of those type of roles where you get done watching and you think about it a little bit later. So I think that's great.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's the aim to bring to the screen and bring to the table topics that are complex, that are human, and to bring to the table and to the screens characters that are a representation of millions and millions and millions of people that are out there and that we are not currently seeing ourselves out there or up there. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, Ellie, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. You've got to come back because I want to hear more of the story.
Definitely. Whenever you have me, I'll be here.
I have it on good authority that you enjoy tequila.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. So I do as well. So I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite tequila?
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, because I'm looking for some suggestions.
Oh my goodness. You should try Casa Dragones. It's very neat, soft, amazing. You don't mix it. That's a real nice tequila. Like you straight room temperature, sip, enjoy.
No lime or anything?
No. That's like that. Like, oh my goodness, I'm salivating. And if you also like mezcal,
I do like mezcal.
That it's called El Tinieblo. It's really good. Yeah. Okay. Same thing. You don't mix it. If you want to mix it, I can think of a good tequila mixer to mix. But no, these two are just enjoy them by themselves.
Well, so I'm not against drinking it by itself. I usually use Roca Patron is what I usually drink, but I like mixing it with Diet Coke and a lime.
Huh, interesting.
I know. Everybody always says, I'm like, try it. It's pretty.
No, yeah. Like the sweetness and the acidity of the lime and the.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then like mezcal, I like with like an orange slice with a little like a chili powder.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
You know your stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So see now next time you come, that's what we got to have some. We got to have some snacks and some drinks while we're talking. So Ellie, a couple of things before you go. Anything else that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, right now we have in La Filmadora, we have in production 2 documentary features. One is about the story of the LGBT community and its struggle in one of the most homophobic cities in Latin America. So that's a good one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The other one is the story of an indigenous woman that I cannot say more, but it's good. And the other one that it's on the works is a small animated short film that it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it makes me cry that project. And on the works, like we're developing we have right now 5 features in development and 1 TV show. And so far, let's see. And we're just starting the year, so let's see.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So where can we find, all of these great films? Where are you at? Where's the company at on social media?
Okay. La Filmadora, it's www.lafilmadora.com.
Oh,
and
easy.
you can, it's easy. And you can follow me on Instagram at Eli, ELI, _Zavala. C with a C as in Sue, V as in Victor.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I found you on Instagram. So that's good. Yeah, you came up. There was surprisingly more than one that came up, but I found you. You put in Mike Wall, and there's like a billion that come up. There was only a few for you.
Okay, I'm good then.
Well, Ellie, thank you so much. We definitely have to do this again. Best of luck on the film. I think it's going to do really well. It was really good.
Yeah. Thank you. Go check it out.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Hold on one second. All right. So that was the talented Ellie Zavala. I really enjoyed that. I'm so excited for you to see this film. Is so good. It's so good. I absolutely love the trailer. So if you get the opportunity, please check that out. I got a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot more from her. She's a really good actress. And it sounds like she's got a really good eye as a producer. So that's exciting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. Really appreciate that. If you haven't done so yet, if you could subscribe, we would really appreciate it. That would help us out. You can find all 350 some now episodes on our website. You can find the audio and the video, meistercon.com. It's got a fun, geeky blog on there that Brett writes. He's such a good writer. It's really good. I think you'll enjoy it. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, all that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.